Manchester United are in for Antoine Griezmann. What year is this? Because last time I checked, it wasn't 2018. Antoine Griezmann is 32 years old and still an exceptional player, tearing it up for Atletico Madrid. But is he a player Manchester United need? Because for me, it's just a repeat of the past. It's a Cavani signing. It's a Ronaldo signing. Quality players, but they're not the long-term solution. And United, we've done it so many times over the last few years where we've brought in these older players and they just, put a plaster over a gaping wound. And Antoine Griezmann, I think, is an exceptional player. It's like finding like a nice pair of football boots in the charity shop. But with Griezmann, I do believe that he is an exceptional player and he would probably make a difference at Manchester United. But where would he fit in this team for starters? I mean, you're probably thinking, what's going on? But with Antoine Griezmann, there's been a report that Manchester United have reached Antoine Griezmann's camp and we are apparently going to be offering triple his salary at Atletico Madrid. And he's currently on about 116, 120 grand a week there. So you'd probably be paying around £350,000 a week for him. Now, that's another massive wage we'd be adding to the books. So if we could get rid of someone like Martial or Jadon Sancho, then that would kind of bring the wage bill down. But realistically, where would Antoine Griezmann fit into this Manchester United side? He's mainly a centre-forward or a false nine, and he's not the fastest. So would he be able to adapt to the Premier League? But let's also talk about his traits. He is very experienced. He's got a brilliant poacher's instinct. He's creative. He's brilliant on set pieces. He's also left-footed, which United lack. I mean, our only left-footed attacker is Antony, so that would bring a lot more balance into this Manchester United side. But with Griezmann, it's a signing that I look at and I'm like, it is a repeat of the past. It is a Cavani or a Ronaldo signing. So Antoine Griezmann's stats from last season, he scored 15 goals and got 16 assists in 38 games. Now, that's pretty damn good for a 32-year-old or 31-year-old back then. But United are struggling to score goals, so Antoine Griezmann could provide something. But who do you drop? Because I don't think he has enough pace on the wing in the Premier League. The fullbacks in the Premier League would absolutely destroy him. So it's either you drop in Rasmus Højlund, our new upcoming striker, or you bench Bruno Fernandes, or you do try and experiment him on the wing, or you go to a front two and you drop someone like Marcus Rashford and you go two strikers. It's a very complicated situation to be in because it's where do we fit in with Antoine Griezmann? Now, this could all be rumours. I mean, the reports are that Manchester United haven't even put in a bid yet for the money for Atletico Madrid and Griezmann. But at the end of the day, I just believe that with Griezmann, it would be a great signing, but it's also a short-term fix and it doesn't fix the long-term issue pretty much. But with Griezmann, let me know in the comments what you think of him because I think he's a very good player. I think he would suit Manchester United really well at times. It just depends what position we play him in. So it really depends that are you going to drop Bruno Fernandes or Rasmus Højlund, or are you going to try and fit him in on the wings? And personally for me, with him not being very quick, I feel like he would get absolutely destroyed in the Premier League. And with the massive wages, it's also if United was to offer him a massive contract as well, because if we offer him 350 grand a week for 5 years, then we're knackered because no doubt he'll probably retire within the next 3 or 4 years. So for me, I just believe that it would be a short-term fix, probably a 2-year contract, maybe with a year extension. I'm not too sure, but with Griezmann, I do like the idea of the signing, but like I said at the start of the video, it's not 2018 anymore. It's 5 years on. It's 2023, almost 2024. I just think that Griezmann isn't the right solution. And with Erik ten Hag, he's trying to get these younger players in so he can actually build a team. And I just don't think Griezmann, if Griezmann comes in and absolutely tears it up, but then gets an injury, then we're knackered. And we're back to the situation that we're currently in. And with the injuries United have had so far this season, I mean, it's been, 23 injuries we've had this season, or players out, at least 23 players out at some point. It's absolutely ridiculous, the injury list we've had this season. And with Griezmann, I just think that I'd like the signing, but whether or not Erik ten Hag can fit him in the team is the massive question, because with Griezmann, he needs to be guaranteed in the first team. So it really depends on who do you drop for Antoine Griezmann. But there's two players I wanted to talk about, and that is Gancalo Inacio and Todibo. Now, we'll talk about Inacio first. Now, with Inacio, He is a young player. I mean, he's 22 years old, plays for Sporting Lisbon. He has a very decent career. He's a youth academy graduate for Sporting Lisbon, and pretty much he's 6'1", left-footed, can play in multiple systems. He can play in a back three, a back five, a back four, even a back two at times when the team is going in the transition and building out from the back. Enciso's a very popular name in Europe, and he was a target for teams like Liverpool in the summer, Real Madrid and Newcastle, but apparently he turned it down because he wanted more experience at Sporting Lisbon before he makes his big money move, because it's inevitable. At some point, he is going to make a big money move to a big club. And United are now showing interest, which is what we need to be doing, because you look at the likes of Antony and Hoyland, for example, these signings where we haven't really had much competition, like not many big teams have been going for these names. So when United are actually going for targets that Liverpool, Real Madrid and Newcastle and other teams are interested in, then it kind of shows that they're from the other club's perspective, this player is a very good player. So they want him for a reason. Now, the only downside to it is that it'd be massive competition for Lisandro Martinez. And I think with the system Erik ten Hag wants to play, Martinez kind of suits it a bit more, because Enciso for me is a very bruiser type centre back. He is very good defensively on the ball. He's very confident. I mean, I think he saw a stat where he's completing around 67 passes per 90, which is very good when you want to play out from the back. So he's very confident on the ball. In the air as well, I think he wins. I saw a percentage where he wins like 2.5 aerial duels per 90, which is also very good. And with Sporting Lisbon as well, they're a quite popular and dominant team in the Portuguese league. So no doubt they're not defending much. So Enciso, when he does need to defend, he is a quality player. So with Enciso, let me know in the comments down below on what you think of Enciso. But just to give him a bit of a backstory, that he was 16 years old and playing for the under-18s for Sporting Lisbon. A year later at 17, he was playing for the under-21s. And then another year later at 18, he was promoted to the first team and has been in and out of the team until he turned around 20 years old, and then eventually is now an established first team starter for Sporting Lisbon. But with Enciso, I do think that he is a very good player, and yeah, I just think that it would be a good option for Man United. He's 22 years old, so this is, like I said, with the Griezmann situation, he brings that youth and you can actually build a team around him. But it really depends on what would Erik ten Hag want to do with him. Would he maybe want to move him into a left-back position, or move Lisandro Martinez to midfield or left-back? Because whilst Martinez and Luke Shaw have been out injured, we've seen a massive lack of quality on the left side for Manchester United. I mean, left centre-back, left-back. We only have Reguilon. You've seen the likes of Dalot playing at left back. I mean, he's right-footed. I mean, if you want to have a balanced back line, you don't have an inverted fullback, in my opinion. So with Enciso, it would bring a lot of quality to Man United. But as well, I just think that with Enciso, it's just one of them. It's one of them that, because we've got a brilliant player in Martinez, would he replace him? That's the big question, because even though Martinez has been out and we'll be crying out for Enciso right now, when Martinez is back, we'll probably forget about this injury crisis. And Martinez, we saw last season about how brilliant he is at times. But Enciso, he stands at 6'1". He's a tall centre-back. He's, like I said, he's a bruiser type centre-back. He likes to get stuck into the challenges as well. He isn't afraid to back off. So he would suit the Premier League very well, in my opinion. And with a team like Liverpool and teams like Newcastle and even Real Madrid looking at him, I think that this guy is a very good upcoming player, and United should keep an eye on him. Now, Todibo for me is also a very good player. I mean, he's 23 years old. I think he turns 24 in December or January. So he is about to turn 24, which it doesn't make him young, but you know, he's about to start to make this big money move. He needs to take the next step in his career, in my opinion. And much like Enciso, he graduated from the Nice Academy, but he has also been in and out of the squad certain loan spells, like Benfica, but hardly got any game time at Benfica when he played for them. But the difference between Enciso and Todibo, that with Todibo, he's right-footed and he's a right-sided centre-back. And he also, like Enciso, can play in multiple systems, a back two, a back three and a back five. But mainly in the back three is what I want to talk about, because he's right-footed, he stands at 6'2", 6'3". He's very tall, a very modern-day type centre-back, very good on the ball, which is what Erik ten Hag would want in his centre-backs, because I think he'd be a brilliant partner for someone like Martinez and with a goalkeeper like Onana. 3 players in that triangle that would be able to distribute the ball very, very well for progressing up the field. So with Todibo, I think that he would be the more favourable option, in my opinion, because with Todibo as well, you've got Maguire, you've got Varane, you've got Evans. I think that once Martinez comes back, that left-sided centre-back is his position and his position only. But with Todibo, the Varane situation is just a massive question mark for everyone and what his future is at Manchester United. Harry Maguire is in exceptional form and probably arguably one of our best performing players at the moment, but he's also 30 years old and can't lead this team to glory. So with someone like Todibo, I personally believe that with him and Martinez, that would be a very solid partnership. I mean, Todibo is very good in the air. I've also said he's a very modern day centre-back. He's very good on the ball. And I just think that with someone like Todibo, especially playing that back three, we saw it throughout pre-season, this is what I wanted to highlight about, that with this back three formation, we see a lot of times when Man United are in the transition under Erik ten Hag, that we go to a back three or a back two and the holding midfielder drops between the defenders to allow our fullbacks to go more forward. Now, I wanted to talk about pre-season because during pre-season, we would go to a back three of Luke Shaw, Martinez and Varane. And we'd also have Wan-Bissaka progressing up the field as that more right-sided midfielder to gain that extra man for the attack. Or it'd be vice versa with Luke Shaw going up the field. But Luke Shaw was more confident at centre-back than Wan-Bissaka was. But with Todibo, he would be perfect in that back three system. So when United are progressing up the field and are in the transition and are trying to push the team back and put them in the low block and put them on the back foot while we progress up their side of the field and we are progressing up the pitch, I feel like Todibo, he can play a high line. He has the pace to get back if a mistake is made. So Todibo, for me, kind of like solidifies the perfect option and a signing we must go for. This is just my opinion because I think that out of all the 3 players that I've just mentioned, Todibo is the best option that we can make. Plus, he plays for Nice, which is the team owned by Sir Jim Ratcliffe. So if the rumours are true that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is going to own shares at Man United, then no doubt this would be an easier deal to make than the likes of the Enciso and Griezmann deal, because Griezmann will be asking for massive wages. Enciso has a high release clause. Todibo, I think you could probably grab him for around 30, 40 million pounds and he wouldn't ask for massive wages. So you could probably offer him, because United like to give players massive wages, you could probably offer him about 150, 160 grand a week and he would be perfectly happy with that because I think he's on like 40 grand a week at Nice. So with Todibo, I think that he'd be a perfect option for Man United, but that's just my opinion. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of Todibo. But that's a scout report. I mean, with Griezmann, I really like the signing. And, well, obviously we've not made the signing, but with Griezmann, I really like the player. And I just feel like that it really depends that if Erik ten Hag did want him, where would he fit him? Like with Enciso, I think he's a much better player than someone like Todibo, in my opinion, because he's wanted by the likes of Newcastle, he's wanted by Liverpool and Real Madrid. They're, like, especially Liverpool and Real Madrid, they're massive teams in Europe, and they're teams that don't normally miss with transfers. But with Enciso, it's just the fact that with the likes of Martinez, would Erik ten Hag have to bench Martinez or would it be a rotation option? That's the thing, because Enciso will want to come in and play first team football. And United have made this mistake in the past by letting players go to different clubs because we can't guarantee them first team football. I mean, look at Jude Bellingham. We practically had Jude Bellingham at Man United after he left Birmingham, but because we couldn't guarantee him first team football, he went to Dortmund. And look what he's gone on to do at Real Madrid now. He's one of the best players in the world. I mean, you probably could say that Jude Bellingham wasn't going to turn out like he did if he did join Manchester United, but you never know. The quality has always been there in someone like Jude Bellingham. But it's the first team football like guarantee, and that's what these players will be coming in for. They'll want to be playing first team football, but Martinez isn't even back yet, so we don't even know if he's gonna be the same player as he was after this massive injury. But with Todibo, out of all the three players that I've mentioned in this video, he is my favourite one. He is the one that I would prefer because it just makes more sense. United need a proper quality right-sided centre-back at the moment. Maguire is doing absolutely brilliant, but it's not even just Maguire. It's not even just replacing Maguire. It's replacing Johnny Evans, or it's replacing Lindelof, or it's also replacing Raphael Varane because we don't know what's going on with him. So with Todibo, I think that he's the most realistic signing we can make, and for the price you can get him, I think that you can't get a player with this much quality at United for the price tag. And with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, if the rumours are true and he is coming as a stakeholder, then no doubt it would be an easy deal to make because obviously he owns Nice as well. But yeah, that's been the video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you are new. Leave a like on the video if you like these types of videos. Something new. Let's try it. And thank you for watching. See you later.